All right, what's up, guys? Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. Now, you know what? Fuck it. I was going to just reheat the coffee from yesterday because there's still a fair bit of it left after the whatchamacallit. After the small cup I had, because we didn't have the big cup, I wasn't sure where it was, so we just went with a normal size coffee mug. I Let me put this down real quick, or at least set out the. I gotta wash the coffee pot out. Set out the thing. There we go. I After that first mug, I switched to wine last night. The wine that my sister brought up for Christmas. I only drank like half the bottle. I was willing to go full send on it and drink the whole bottle for the new year, but I've never been much of a drinker, more just a social drinker, and I don't like getting drunk. I kind of wanted to get drunk for New Year's, but then I ended up not getting drunk because I just didn't feel like drinking any more wine at some point, and I'm totally fine with that. But we're gonna make new coffee for the new year. We're not gonna start off the new year by drinking last year's coffee. So give me a second to get this all prepped. Normally I prep it all before I start the video. I'm gonna need a coffee filter. It's not gonna take that long. Let me get this guy in there. But I hope everyone had a good New Year's celebration. I hope everyone was safe. I hope no one drank and drive. That's one of the only reasons I drank in the first place was because I was staying home. We're gonna do the French vanilla coffee. I was, again, saving this for my mom, but she ended up not drinking any while she was up here because we drank the Christmas at Biltmore that my sister brought. So the next time I think they come into town is like early spring, and I'll get more for that point. I'm just feeling the French vanilla today. We're gonna start it off with this. Maybe I do something fun. So what I used to do sometimes is in college, I would make makeshift mochas. And the way I would do that, I'll tell you in a sec. Oh, there's not much left. Let's see if we can get a full pot out of this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, let's get that cranking because you do want a little bit of stuff in the bottom of the pot first before you do this. It's been many years since I've done this, and I don't know how it'll turn out, but especially since I'm using the French vanilla coffee, I think it'll be pretty good because I like French vanilla hot cocoa, and I also like hot cocoa with marshmallows, and I have this hot cocoa with marshmallows. So the way I would make mochas in college was I would leave a little bit of water in the bottom of the pot or wait until the pot has some coffee in it, and then I would pour hot cocoa mix into the bottom. Now, it's been like a decade since I've done this, right? Over a decade. But I don't remember exactly how much cocoa mix I put in there. But each one of these makes a normal mug size worth of pure hot cocoa, right? And my big mug is about the size of two regular mugs, right? So maybe like one and a half. I feel like if I put two packets in, that should be just enough to give it a little bit of coffee flavor without making it too sweet, you know? Although the problem is, I'm gonna need to wait for the whole thing to brew for it to mix properly. That's all right. I can talk your ears off until then. So let's go ahead and the marshmallows aren't going to matter in this case, right? Because the coffee's just going to dissolve all of them. But they'll add a little bit of extra flavor, I think. I hope. All right, I think we have just about enough. Because the thing is, if you don't uh, make sure there's some liquid in the bottom of the coffee pot, one of two things are going to happen, maybe both. Either it's going to heat up fast enough that it kind of burns the cocoa powder, or just the way that the liquid drips in, it's going to clump and not mix properly, and then it's a pain in the ass to mix later. But if you wait till there's a little bit of liquid in there and swish it around, then just the act of the coffee dripping in there will basically mix itself over the whole pot, and then you just got to do a little swirl at the end. The nice thing about this coffee maker is it's one of the ones that you can pull it out when it's brewing, because it's got a little lever that will hold the stuff in the reservoir until you're ready, or whatever you call it, the area with the filter. You got to go slow though, and it still drips a little onto the plate, but it is what it is. All right, let's dump that shit in there. This smells amazing, actually. I think the French vanilla coffee mixed in with the hot cocoa is the way to go. We're starting 2026 off special, guys. I hope 2026 is starting off special for all of you. I've already been working a little bit. So I started off my morning by doing some research on the OS I intend to install on my PC. We're getting really close to being ready. All of the previous stream VODs are uploaded at this point. That means all I need to do is upload the little individual videos. And I've kind of been saving that off for last because it's the most labor intensive, essentially. It's piecemeal. It's like each one is less than 10 minutes long. So it's not one of those set it and forget it type things like uploading a 10-hour stream VOD is. And that means I'm just going to be glued to the PC all day, where I've been doing other things in the background, like, you know, like I was cleaning up for Christmas and just doing random things. I definitely need to go grocery shopping soon. I got enough to deal for a while, but I'm running out of little things like coffee creamer. I still don't have any raw honey here. And it's the main road looks good right now, but my driveway is pretty solidly caked, you know, and the side roads look kind of like shit, but I just stay on the main road anyways. But I'm using the side road as like this is just a running theme every video, I guess. I did delete yesterday's video before I started recording, but then I forgot to remove it from the trash. And of course, as I said the other day, this phone is trash, so it won't just auto delete my trash to make space. I don't know why that's not just a built-in feature of every phone or computer. It's like if you deleted it, clearly you probably don't want it anymore. I understand saving things in the recycling bin to recover them, but ask yourself, how many times have you needed something recovered from your recycling bin? For me, it's been like 10 probably over my entire life, right? And I am terminally on my computer. I use my computer far more than the average person. In fact, on Linux Mint, which is my current operating system, I don't even use the recycling bin. There's an option just to delete things straight up. I skip the whole recycling bin aspect entirely, you know? But anyways, random storage space rant over. So I don't know if I'm going to the store or not, because the reason I was looking at that side road is I'm trying to figure out what type of snow is out there. There is a very big difference between shoveling fresh powder and shoveling down the it snowed and then got kind of warm and then snowed again type snow. That basically becomes layers of crystallized ice, and I don't know if my back can handle that today. So plus it's supposed to snow again, looking at the weather report, like in a few hours. So I'm not even sure if I'll have time to shovel the whole thing and then go and do all that without getting fucking dumped on, you know? But so maybe I don't do that today. I'm on the fence about it. But what I'm definitely doing today is the small video uploads, and then I want to start working on my phone too. I've got some videos I recorded on my phone that haven't been uploaded yet. And I've also got, I want to go through the social media now that I have time. There's no additional plans today like there have been the rest of the week, where I had to go to the wake, and then I had the hangout for the whole New Year's stuff, seeing family. I finally have time to just sit down and work, you know? So we're gonna take some time to go through social media and respond to stuff. Maybe not today because of the whole piecemeal doing all the video things, but the plan is probably this today, Friday, I think. We'll do that sometime this week. I'm not going to be able to do anything while the PC is reinstalling or installing the new OS. So that will be a great opportunity to do that. It seems like our makeshift mocha is done. So this is we'll mix it up first. Can I set it on that countertop? We'll set it on the sink. I'm gonna sit you guys down for a sec so I can hold this with one hand. It smells good. So yeah, there's just a little bit of clumping on the bottom, but it's not bad. It would have been terrible if we hadn't put some of that coffee in there first, you know? Again, I'm not sure what the measurements were. It feels kind of thin, which means maybe I didn't put enough in yet, but we'll see. Let me drop this back off and clean this bin off. And then I'll show you in the better lighting. For whatever reason, it's kind of hard to see it over here, whereas over here we're directly under the light. There's another light over there. It's just maybe not as bright. Maybe one of the light bulbs are out in that. Or looks like one of the light bulbs is dimmer. Anyways, this is our coffee mocha. Let's go ahead and pour that shit in there. Oh god, it looks delicious. Honestly, part of me wants to put whipped cream on it. I do have a little bit of whipped cream in the refrigerator, but it's pumpkin pie whipped cream, like pumpkin pie flavor or whatever. Interesting. It needed more chocolate, I think. Maybe 3 would have been the way to go. You can barely taste it. It's just a little hint of it, even though you can see the color change. It's pretty good though. So let's see what happens when I add a little bit of cream. I think maybe that's part of the issue. When I make hot chocolate, generally I don't use water. I use milk. So let's add the half and half and see how that helps. I shouldn't have washed the spoon off yet because now I'm going to get it dirty again. Maybe I add a little bit of sugar too, since we didn't necessarily put enough of that hot chocolate in there. All right, let's go ahead and give this a try. Oh yeah, that definitely improved it. And I think it just needs a touch of sugar and then it'll be perfect. So let's go ahead and get the sugar out. Sugar is one of the things I'm definitely going to need to get. I'm starting to run a little low. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel, but just barely, you know. We got plenty all bunched up in the corners. All right, let's go ahead and mix that up. See if it's the appropriate amount of sugar. Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. You just want to add a little bit, touch more. And you don't want to make it overly sweet because that'll ruin it, you know? You can always add more sugar, but you can't take it out. All right. I think this is the one. Oh yeah, yep. Perfect. It tastes like half hot chocolate, half coffee, except for a little more coffee weighted because I didn't put enough hot chocolate in there. Maybe I should have done 3 packets. But it's also one of those things that it's kind of to your own taste, right? So if you want to make a makeshift mocha, that's how you do it. Oh, dude, this was such a good idea. I'm glad I did this. The French vanilla is perfect. You know what? We're going to go a little crazy with it. I might ruin it, but I've got a whole nother pot if I want to. I'm going to put actual vanilla in it. Just the tiniest drip. This stuff is so strong. When I was young, I found out the hard way that certain things, especially certain baking things, can be very concentrated. You know, I went and I had, my mom had some vanilla, and I was like, oh, this stuff smells so good. It's got to taste delicious, right? Oh, hell no. That was one of the most disgusting things I ever tasted. Just a little tiny drip there. Hopefully that's not too much. Mix that in. All right. I'm gonna see how this went. Oh, it was perfect. Oh my God, it's so good. Holy shit. Okay, we're being super extra today. I'm gonna do the whipped cream too. I don't know how well the pumpkin spice whipped cream will go with it, but we're gonna try it out. I haven't used this shit in a minute, since like November probably. Okay, that's all clear. I want to show you guys what it looks like. So the big thing I do that a lot of people don't do is I always wash out the tip with hot water afterwards. Just because the worst thing, especially since I don't use whipped cream that often, is when you go to use the whipped cream and there's a whole bunch of hard, nasty, old whipped cream in the tip. So you got to the tip. You gotta keep the you gotta keep the tip clean for her pleasure. Anyways, moving on. This is the whipped cream coffee. It's gonna be all over my face. I don't have a napkin here. Whatever. Oh, that's delicious. It actually works really well with the pumpkin spice coffee, the pumpkin spice whipped cream. So, now that we've been super extra with the coffee today, this is what's left of the wine. How much did I drink? I did pretty good, you know. Is that like half the bottle? It's hard to tell because it tapers, but I could have killed that whole bottle easily. Like I said, there's been nights in the previous video where I drank 2 liters of wine in one night, and that is 750 milliliters. So it's only about 1/3 of, and I'm not doing math yet. Fuck that. That's probably wrong. You can talk shit on me in the comments if I did the math wrong. Anyways, yeah, so there's 2 things I wanted to say today, but I don't really remember what the first one was. Give me a minute. Oh, I guess kind of already talked about it. The PC and the uploads. You know, while the new OS is uninstalling and wiping the old hard drive and all that, that's going to be like a day, maybe 2, where I won't be able to really do much, but just let the PC sit on its own, install new software and stuff. So, excuse me. I guess the whipped cream is having an effect. But dude, I gotta burp like crazy now. I'm trying not to be rude and just burp in your faces. During that, I'm going to work on uploading stuff from the phone and also going through social media to read comments and stuff like that. Also, the thing that I was doing this morning is researching the distro that I'm going to install. Now, for the past several videos, I've been talking about Kachy OS, Kachy, but doing some AI-assisted comparisons with my hard drive and my use cases, not just my hard drive, all my hardware. I meant to say hardware instead of hard drive. I'm actually planning on switching to Bazzite OS now, which is a Linux distro that is specifically designed for gamers. Now, I'm not just doing gaming, I'm also doing streaming and music recording, but it's got some integrations that work well with that too. As far as the comparison between Kachy and Bazzite is, I would say if you are a Windows user that is abandoning Windows either because you realize how trash Windows 11 is just by itself, you hate the fact that they've built in an AI that is now spying on you constantly, or you just can't upgrade to Windows 11 because your hardware isn't new enough, then Bazzite is probably one of the best, if not the best option for you right now. I think Microsoft has really shot itself in the foot with Windows 11, and it's probably going to take several years, but I believe we're about to see the start of Windows losing a significant portion of their market share and Linux becoming a lot more popular, especially because Linux is becoming a lot more user-friendly. That's one of the things that Bazzite is designed to do. Bazzite is designed to just work. You're not really supposed to need to use the terminal inputs for most things. You can generally just start it up and it should run, and it's being adopted by so many people at this point too that it's pretty easy to get support. Whereas Kachy is in a similar way, definitely much more user friendly than the base version that it's built on. It's a Arch Linux distro, which is known for being like the most widely customizable and one of the most advanced types of Linux. But Kashi has a lot of uh, modifications that make it much more user friendly, like better memory management and things like that. But it's still more of like a tech enthusiast type OS. I still probably will actually use Kashi at one point because I want to learn Linux. I did a little bit of it back in college, but again, that was a decade ago. So just like the makeshift Mocha, I don't really remember the exact stuff from back then. I used Ubuntu. I think it was like 12 and 14 were the big distros I was in. Um, but I have a second PC. Actually, the PC that was my college PC. It's like a 2009 or whatever pre-built. I've kept it kind of alive over the years through upgrades and new OS installations, but it's currently not working at the moment. One of the plans this year is to see if I can get that running again. I'm sure I can. It's just a question of how much time and effort it will take, you know? And when I do that, I'll probably put CachyOS on it for two reasons. One, the big advantage that Kashi has over Bazite is that it's lighter and faster. So if you're running super old hardware, you know, that's like over a decade old, like my original pre-built PC, then Kashi's probably going to run a little bit faster than Bazite on that. On modern hardware, like my streaming PC, which I built in 2020, I think. Um, you shouldn't. It will be like barely noticeable, if noticeable at all, as far as speeds go. Um, and all I really use that other PC for is to put things on the TV, and I don't even watch TV. It's just mostly there for when people come over. You know, I have it plugged into the TV in the living room right now. And unfortunately, it wasn't working for Christmas. I would have put like a Yule log or something on for my family, but uh, it worked. I just plugged my phone into the Bluetooth speaker that I have here that I use for doing like work and stuff. It's always been my work Bluetooth speaker. For a while, it was just covered in kitchen grease because I would take it into the kitchen when I worked uh, as a line cook, and just all that stuff floating around in the air for whatever reason really seemed to like latch itself on to this kind of plastic that it's made out of, you know. But I just put a music playlist on that guy and listen to that. So the plan is to probably definitely install Bazite on the main PC, and then sometime later in the year, probably early spring or late spring, early summer, after I finish the house renovations and I can start working on fun projects instead of necessary projects, I will pull that PC apart, clean everything out, uh, check thermal paste and reseat it if needed, but that's probably not the issue. I think it's just old, outdated hardware that's maybe on its last legs. I might need to replace some parts or something like that. But uh, also, I have an old netbook I want to get running again. I tried using a Linux distro called Anti-X or Antix. I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. And I kind of got that almost working. It worked better than other. It's a super lightweight distro that's made for like ancient hardware, and these netbooks are tiny. They still use it has an Intel dual core processor, I think. Um, so I think it's still 36-bit architecture too, whereas almost all modern distros run on 64-bit architecture, so you can't even install it on that. That I want to get set up as just a mobile streaming platform, so I can do some IRL streams. Like maybe take it out to the range, or I don't know, just even move it around the house a little bit. Maybe set up and stream from my back porch or something some evening. But yeah, so I've got big plans for 2026. I'm not going to tell you all of them, of course, because where would the fun in that be, right? I like to leave some things up to surprise. Oh, that's so good. But yeah. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about. Um, I should probably do a whole video on this, but I just want to put this out there. There's been a thing recently. Um, Someone said, don't look at the photos and media tab of Grok on its X profile. And of course, being the curious, naturally inquisitive person I am, I had to go look. And 90% of it is, I'd say even 99.9% of it is just Gooner material, right? And I wasn't surprised. I didn't know what to expect, honestly. I thought it was going to be like some absolutely crazy, crazy stuff. But it was all just Gooner material. And some of it was funny. Like it gets lost in the swamp of Gooner material. But I saw a picture recently of, I think it was Brandon Herrera and Donut Operator. Those are the two I know from like their firearms and body cam review videos. But the other people of the Unsubscribed podcast, I've never watched or listened to the Unsubscribed podcast, but I've seen some clips from it. There's a guy, Angry Cops. He was a drill sergeant. He went on there and exposed like a cover up of some stuff happening in a school area, and I saw clips of that. But apparently there was this. The point is, there was this picture where those guys got together for something, doing their Unsubscribed podcast. I think they went on a live tour or something like that, and they had a picture together. And someone tweeted, "Put all of us in bikinis," and that was pretty funny. The problem, though, is people have been using that Grok to do that for extremely, extremely nefarious things. Now, ironically, a lot of it is just like the internet prostitutes doing it to themselves, right? Which makes sense, right? Because they're already, not all of them, but for the most part, a lot of them are so lazy that all they can really do to make money is put on a bikini and then take a photo of it and post it to their OnlyFans or their social media to lure people to their OnlyFans or Passes or Fansly or whichever one they're using, right? So it should come as no surprise that these people that are too lazy to get a normal job or create any kind of actual creative content are using AI to just make more sexy photos of themselves, right? Then there's a gray area, I would say a moral gray area, where other people are using AI to make more photos or probably video at this point, but I don't really use any of the video generating AI or have access to any of that stuff. to make, like, other people are using AI to make more photos of these sex workers. And that's a gray area, right? Because on the one hand, they're doing it to themselves, right? They're already putting their bodies out there like that. But at the same time, I do believe intrinsically that everyone has the right to their own image. And specifically, so there's a caveat with that when it comes to photographers. And that's where it starts to get legally messy a little bit, right? Because technically, legally, uh, even though you have a right to your own personal image, your own personal brand, when it comes to photographers, when they take a photograph, legally, they own the photograph, right? So then it's one thing if you upload a picture of yourself in a bikini and then someone else takes that photo into AI and puts you in a different bikini or a corset or something like that. But it's another thing entirely. Like that, I would say, is legally and definitely morally wrong. Uh, then there's the gray area where what if someone else takes a photo of you and then uploads that to AI and uses AI to put you in a bikini? Well, I'd say that's morally wrong, but legally, they probably have the right to do that because as the taker of the photo, they have the rights to manipulate that photo. So that whole thing's kind of fucked, right? The part that I think is both most morally abhorrent and also should be absolutely legally wrong is there's been an issue apparently. I saw someone complaining about it on Twitter today as I was drinking my morning tea before I switched to this here makeshift mocha. Um, there have been people, I'm assuming mostly men, that are taking normal photos of women on the internet where they're just dressed normally and they're not sex workers. They're just normal, random people. Some of them may be content creators. Some of them are just people that have social media in general. And then they're taking those photos, these degenerate gooner fuckwads, and putting them into AI and like stripping the clothes off them or putting them in lingerie or bathing suits or things like that. And that's just absolutely wrong. There's no reason you should be doing that at all. And I think there needs to be some kind of legal framework to protect people from that. If you're one of those people doing that, leave that shit in 2025. That's all I really have to say about it. I don't want to go on a whole rant about it. Mostly, I'm focused on the things I'm trying to do to better my own life at this moment. But at the same time, I always want to make the world a better place. That's my underlying motivation behind everything. And if you're one of those people in particular, we're not going to worry about the other two groups. But if you're one of those people in particular that are taking photos of non-sex workers and sexualizing them, especially the most terrible and disgusting of all of it is people have been doing that with kids and stuff. I'm trying not to be judgmental here. Just because Jesus said, judge not lest you be judged. Please stop doing that, right? I wholeheartedly believe not only is that terrible for society, for the world, but I also believe it's terrible for your soul. So, if you're one of the people that is responsible for the endless wave of Gooner material on Grok's profile, please stop. Leave that shit in 2025. I promise you will find a happier and more fulfilling life if you find other things to do with your time or better ways to use AI. And that's all I'm going to say there. I'm going to go enjoy my delicious mocha coffee and get started on edits and uploads. I'm probably doing the meal prep today, right? It's a toss up. If I go and shovel the snow, I won't have time. But I think it's better, especially because the food is getting really close to being on the cusp of going old. That and if I go and start it and the food is expired and not good, then I'll absolutely probably just go shovel the snow and get more stuff. But I think I'm going to do the egg sandwich and the chicken and kielbasa rice meal preps that I have planned. Once I get some of the edits started and uploads started, because even with the shorter videos, it gets to a point where, well, now I gotta wait 20 minutes for this to render or whatever, instead of like the 4 hours it takes to render the longer videos. But yeah, I'll probably do that today. I forgot to mention that. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. So I probably need to make space on my phone though, because that's likely going to be a longer video, closer to an hour, maybe two, depending on how long the prep takes. I like to cut all the fat off the chicken and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'll probably upload that as soon as it's done, because it's not part of a series like the serial or anything. And I can, now that I went through and did all the administrative work that one day, I have playlists that I can just automatically slot it into the playlist from my phone using the YouTube Studio upload app. But yeah, I just want to say, going into 2026, I think there's more evil than ever, and society has been specifically constructed using dark patterns and psychological research and now machine learning and AI manipulation to force those demons into your head. Don't let the demons into your head. Do whatever you can to keep them at bay. And if you need help with that, reach out to someone. You know, there are mental health professionals out there. There are probably family and friends who care about you that you could talk with that. Some of them, you know, there's definitely family that I've tried to have conversations with that it just made things worse. But the thing is, it's like, even if they are family, they're not, there's a difference between being flesh and blood family and like family. And there's one or two people in particular that I'm like, damn, I might be related, but we're definitely not family. So just keep that in mind. There's demons everywhere. They're all around us, and they're always trying to get in and consume you. So remain vigilant and just do what you can to be kind to people. Remember the golden rule, right? Whenever you're about to do something to someone, ask yourself, how would I feel if the roles were reversed? You know, and I do think there's some terrible people out there that be like, yeah, I'm fine with that. But and if you're one of those people, then you're probably cooked, and we're probably enemies. But if you're not one of those people, then you should take a moment and be like, yeah, you know, I probably shouldn't do that. I just want to see the world be a better place, and I'm hoping I can make content in 2026 that will help move it in that direction. Now I'm actually gonna go drink this coffee and maybe find something to eat because I'm starving. I'll probably do those breakfast sandwiches, meal preps, like almost immediately because I didn't make breakfast yet today. I just had the tea. So I'm just gonna say I love all of you and God bless America. Cheers.